Last weekend, I gave you my top 5 nightmare scenarios for the draft for our New York Jets. In today's video, though, I'm going to be giving you my top 5 dream draft day scenarios for the 2022 NFL Draft. Let's go ahead and let's get after it. Before I get into the video, if I could get you to please jet up the like button, and if you're new here and you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing to the channel. I do want to let you know we'll be live this upcoming Wednesday night, and we'll be live streaming with Jake Asman. He's going to be joining the panel and discussing all things Jets offseason. The link for that stream will be in the description. I also want to let you know about our giveaway. I'm going to be giving away a free Jets jersey to one of my subscribers. If you have not already hit that button, go ahead and do so right now. You're supporting the channel and you're also giving yourself a shot at a great prize. Without any more time being wasted, let's go ahead and let's get into this video. My first dream scenario for the New York Jets on draft night, I think it's no surprise. It's for Thibodeau to be available at the number 4 overall pick. And quite honestly, this just simplifies the entire draft altogether. We would have our top-notch blue chip pass rushing prospect right away in the NFL draft. And then I feel like the Jets can kind of go in a million different directions. It opens up things so very much. We wouldn't have to necessarily, cross our fingers that a pass rusher becomes available at the 10th overall pick. We wouldn't have to worry about, if we don't have a pass rusher, land at the number 10 overall pick. Maybe we would have to package some of our mid-round picks to get up into the first round to get our edge rusher. And again, having Thibodeau be available at the number 4 overall spot eliminates all of that guesswork and all of the concern that I have, and I'm sure that you guys have as well. This is a dire need, and from the beginning of the offseason, I've made it very clear that this is the number 1, player that I want, and it's also the number 1 position of need that I think that this defense has and this team has. Say whatever you want about supporting Zach Wilson, and I get it, and I'm agreeing with you completely on that. But schematically, this is what this defense is all about: getting after the quarterback and being able to get in there and affect the quarterback down to down. I think Thibodeau does that. High energy, high motor player, and a lot of people are speculating: is he going to be a guy that will turn into a Jadeveon Clowney? I personally don't see that. I see a guy that really does have unbelievable talent, and I think that Robert Saleh will really get the most out of a player like this. So right away, he's dream scenario number 1. My second dream scenario for the NFL draft is one that was reported on earlier in the week by Connor Rogers, and he seemed to suggest and believes that there's a chance that center Tyler Linderbaum of Iowa falls out of the first round. And if you're asking me right now, what's the safer bet? I still think that he goes in that mid to late first round range, but in years past, we have seen that centers just simply do not go early in the NFL draft. So I'm not going to rule it out completely. I think there is a possibility that that does happen. And you can look to, recent or sort of recent, team history. Nick Mangold of Ohio State, he was he was the best center prospect that year, and there was speculation that he could go also in that mid to late first round range, and he almost fell out of the first round entirely. He went to, the Jets, obviously, at pick number 29, and, something similar could happen with Tyler Linderbaum, and that's going to be, the dream, is that because if he did fall out of that first round and did somehow make it to pick 35, this would make, the New York Jets' lives so much easier on the offensive line in the short term and in the long term, because they would have a center on a cheap contract for the next 4 years in Linderbaum. And then they would also be able to move on from Connor McGovern. And say whatever you want, I think McGovern is a solid center. He is not a world beater, but he's also not terrible. But he's getting paid pretty good money. I think it's $9 million, for this upcoming season, and they would be able to cut him and save all of that cap space. And it allows flexibility for the Jets to add more players after the NFL draft and also post-June cuts. So Altogether, we're getting better on the offensive line, we're getting younger on the offensive line, and we're saving some moolah. I think that would be unbelievable. My third dream scenario for the New York Jets is to land a defensive player at number 4 and at number 10 overall. And then ultimately, with this dream scenario, they will then trade up to get a wide receiver of high regard. And I've talked a lot about Jameson Williams in the last couple of weeks, but it really could be a number of guys. If Drake London falls a little bit, if Chris Olave is a guy that the New York Jets really believe in, Jahan Dotson, Christian Watson, there's a number of guys, and I think that that would be an awesome scenario for the New York Jets, because I do think that adding 2 premium defensive players would really jumpstart this defense into creating more big plays, getting more stops, and ultimately that would help the offense. And then also adding another weapon to, Zach Wilson's arsenal. The receiver room is thin right now. I think that's fair to say. And you can feel however you want about Corey Davis, Elijah Moore. I feel great about Elijah Moore. Feel really, really confident in his ability. Braxton Berrios, Denzel Mims is still here on the roster. That's not enough. And so ultimately, I think that trading up in the first round, or into the first round, I should say, is a dream scenario, because we would just be so fired up having 3 first-round picks being added to this football team. And you have to figure that that's going to be something that they will consider doing, especially if they add to the defense at number 4 and number 10. If you're asking me personally, who's the guy that I would want to trade up for, it's certainly Jameson Williams. He is the big play wide receiver that this offense could really use. And ultimately, he wouldn't even need to be the primary receiver in year 1. We still have Elijah Moore coming into year 2, and I still think Elijah Moore has number 1 wide receiver ability. Corey Davis, Braxton Berrios would still get plenty of run. So love the idea. Jameson Williams can take the top off the defense, and Zach Wilson can absolutely chuck it down the field. My fourth scenario that I believe would be an absolute dream is if the New York Jets add to the offensive line in the mid-rounds of the NFL draft. We all need to start realizing that you do not have to draft an offensive lineman in round 1 for them to be able to not only be an impact player year 1, but also in the future. Most offensive lines are built not in round 1, in fact. I know that seems to be the trend. Fans, they want to go to the top of the draft and get the very best offensive lineman. And I get it, because you want to have a great running game. You want to protect Zach Wilson, and I'm with you. But I do want to make sure you understand, we have our offensive line. The starting offensive line, I believe, is already intact. So, could the Jets draft Ikem Ekwonu at number 4 overall? I guess so, and I suppose that's a possibility if the value is too good, if they have him, as the number 1 player or number 2 player, and he's available at 4. I guess we could see that happen, but ultimately I think the better scenario is the New York Jets go to rounds 3 through 5 and adding guys that are going to be depth players in year 1 and potential starters starting in 2023. Guys like George Fant specifically and Connor McGovern likely not going to be on the football team in 2023. So you get your guys in the middle round to be their backups, be in the system for a full football season, and then go to them. And so they're not just rookies constantly being thrown into the lineup. We're going to have some continuity, some experience being in this offense, and knowledge of playing the position. Playing the offensive line requires a lot of knowledge and experience. So from now on, I would like the Jets to do exactly this. Please, Joe Douglas, go get some offensive linemen in the mid-rounds. And my final dream before I wake up is for the New York Jets to be able to somehow draft safety Daxton Hill from Michigan. He is one of the best safeties in the class, and I think that he is going to be an outstanding NFL football player. Versatility, athleticism is really, really good. The playmaking is there as well. And I think that he would just be one of those guys that Robert Saleh and Jeff Ulbrich could really use as a chess piece on defense. He could blitz. They can put him way back in coverage. They can bring him in the box. I think he's one of those guys that can just literally do anything. And ultimately, I like speed and I like playmakers. And I think ultimately Daxton Hill will be just that. Unfortunately, we don't really have a pick in the range at which that I think he's going to go. But it's my dream and it's my rules. So that's my last dream for this video. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. What are some of your dream draft day scenarios for the New York Jets? Just go ahead and load up the comments, and I will do my best to read and respond to all of them. Thank you again for watching this video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Give yourself a shot at that free jersey for the NFL draft. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go Jets, and I'll see you guys next time.